You should travel to the Maldives as soon as possible. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I want to discuss why you should travel to the Maldives as soon as you can. So basically, if you don't know, the Maldives is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, and it's the lowest country on earth, with its highest point being like 2 meters. So in this video I'm going to discuss why you guys have to come here as quick as you can. And the first reason is because the local islands are starting to get more and more popular. So if you guys don't know, if you're living behind the rock, although you're not living behind the rock because the luxurious image of the Maldives is maintained really well on social media, but yeah, if you guys do not know, there's an alternative that you can travel to the Maldives on a budget, and it doesn't have to be this extremely luxurious trip, staying at a resort and paying like $2,000 per night for accommodation. No, the Maldives can be actually visited with a very cheap budget, and I mean a very cheap budget. I'm currently here in the Maldives and I'm gathering up the cost of my trip. By now I have an approximate amount on how much you need in order to travel the Maldives, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm gonna spend a week here and then I'm gonna do another video telling you guys how much you can spend here per day and have basically everything you need: food, accommodation, drinks, beaches, activities and whatnot. But I have to see further on and make sure that my amounts are actually accurate. So by now I've made a small amount on my head, and it's probably like $50 per day. You can literally stay in the Maldives and spend $50 per day for everything, including accommodation, food, everything. Which leads me to the first reason you should visit the Maldives as soon as you can, and this is the local islands are starting to get more and more popular. And what's the problem behind this? Well, when a place starts to get more and more popular, then more and more businesses are starting to pop up, more and more competition is starting to unfold, and then if the demand is high and the supply here is not as high, the prices are gonna start going up and everything is gonna start getting more and more expensive. Not only due to the demand and the increased demand in tourism to the local islands, but also if the increased demand in tourism is actually here in the local islands, that means that the excursions, let's say if a company has one boat, all right, and they do like these road trips, they do like this tour trips in the beach with swimming with sharks, whatever. If that company has one boat and suddenly the island is filled with tourists that want to go on tours, then that company has to buy more boats, has to employ more staff, which is gonna increase the cost, which means that they're gonna also increase the prices of the product in order to be able to support their funds. So I would highly recommend you guys visit the Maldives for this reason, as is, like one reason, nothing else. Because this place gaining popularity is gonna start and getting more expensive even in the local islands. Now I'm not saying it's gonna be like super expensive, the same as resorts. I'm just saying, like for example Bali. Like Bali a few years ago was this super cheap destinations with many villas that were really cheap, many bungalows that were very cheap, and still to this day it has all those cheap things a little bit more priced up, but it also start having these extremely expensive things. And that's the thing, it's gonna start slowly getting more and more expensive. And now the second reason why you should travel to the Maldives as soon as possible, and it's probably the most important reason and also the saddest reason, that, of course, if you guys don't know, if you haven't heard anything about this, research has shown that by 2050, almost 85% of this island called the Maldives will disappear underwater due to the global warming, the rise of sea levels and whatnot. The Maldives are bound to disappear by 2050. Now this is not exactly the most accurate, it's just an estimate, but still it gives you an idea that nature has become a problem for this country and that most islands will probably disappear by 2050. Now, being here myself, this country has a weird climate. It's been raining a lot since I came. Now, not like every time, but it's been raining quite a lot. Strong winds, you know, not like super huge waves, but still, if the water here starts rising, I see the problem, because as I said, this country is the lowest country on earth, with the highest point in this country being like 2.4 meters. You have an understanding, it's like the highest point is basically a little higher than me. Like, it's extremely flat and extremely close to the ocean, which imposes a lot of dangers to this country. And if the waters of the sea levels continue rising as they do, then this country will be in big trouble. The country is trying to prevent some of these by building like artificial islands. Like, I think one is called Hulumale. Basically, it's an artificial island built by the Maldivians in order for them to prepare if such a thing happens, for people to actually go to that island. So it's being built at a higher height above the sea level, and it's also like built in order to be able to accommodate the people that are living here in case something bad happens. So they're trying their best to prevent anything, but when you're dealing with nature, things get a bit tough, because there's a limit to how much a human can actually do in terms of how much a nature actually can do. You really never know. So it might be like, the estimates might be like a lot. They might give it until 2050 for 80% of the Maldives to disappear, and sooner or later, you never know, it might disappear like in 15 years or in 10 years. You never know. It might disappear like in 2075, might disappear, might never disappear. You literally never know. It depends what happens going onwards with global warming and whatnot. But yeah, things are not looking good for this country, and I highly suggest you guys come here as soon as possible. Now that I have also exposed that you do not have to have millions of dollars to travel here. If you haven't watched my previous video that I uploaded, I explained the differences between luxurious resorts and local islands, and I'm gonna be doing more videos in the future explaining exactly how cheap local islands are. But the only thing that can make this trip super expensive is your flights. Now, if you're living in a country far away from the Maldives, then the flights are gonna be hell of expensive. Like, say if you're staying in the United States, flights are gonna be expensive. But if you're staying in Asia, you have a pretty good opportunity to visit this country with less than $1,000, and I can confidently say with even less than $500. It depends. I have to finish my trip and see. If I spend less than $500, then I'm gonna make a complete video just explaining how I did it. But yeah, you can travel here very cheap. That is it. I just wanted to tell you guys that you should visit this country as soon as possible. So maybe if you were planning on the trip but you didn't know where to go and blah blah blah, you should probably look for the Maldives. You should probably focus for the Maldives, and trust me, you will not be disappointed. This island has a lot of things to offer. White sand beaches, swim with sharks, very nice local community, good food. I've tried some local food. I will do some video about the local food as well. But yeah, you should definitely visit this country. I'm in love. It's such a calming paradise here. I really do enjoy it. But yeah, look at this football pitch over here. That is probably a school or something, I don't know, but that is a pretty huge football pitch. If you consider that this island is like 1 kilometer in length and 300 meters in width. Like, that is pretty huge. That probably takes like 15% of the whole island or something. But yeah, as I said, travel to the Maldives as soon as possible. And that's it. Hope you found this video informative. Hope you learned something if you didn't know about the situation in the Maldives, and if you didn't know that the Maldives could be traveled with such a low budget. Other than that, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.